Part 3, looking at my scan results. Well, now I am going to let this run on my server just out of curiosity, but I want to finish this video and get it posted. So I'm going to look at the report when I scan my web server at lab.wncc.net. So let's go ahead and take a look at that report. And we scanned one host. It says when it was done. If I go to the results, it says I have vulnerable cipher suites. Vulnerable cipher suites. I do have, so when it scans lab.wncc.net, there is also a lab.wncc.edu, and I do have two web servers, one on one and one on the other. One of them has no encryption. It's just HTTP. This one has my Minecraft web server, which is an Internet Information Server. It does have HTTPS. However, it's saying that it's using vulnerable cipher suites. So it would be probably a good idea to, take a look at that. Now this one is saying it has deprecated that I'm using TSL 1.0 and 1.1. Well, at least it's not saying SSL. For some reason, it's also disclosing timestamps, and I'm not sure about that. But I'm going to look at, since this is the worst, we start with the worst. So it says, and you can see here, it only has 3 DES, and yep, these are all lower than they should be. And it says this is what's going on, and insight is 3 DES is vulnerable to this certain attack. Well, I probably should up the ante on that. And it does give some references. And I would have to configure it to make sure it doesn't accept the licensed cipher suites anymore. Because anybody going to that website is going to have an up-to-date browser, to my Minecraft website. And so it wouldn't be a bad idea if I went through and fixed that up. However, in case somebody does decide to scan this, if somebody does get into my web server, is there anything in there that's like notably insecure? Well, there's nothing on there. It's just, there's our CVEs, vulnerable site suites. I may look at this one, the deprecated TLS1, because TLS 1.2 is the current standard. And having TLS1 is not a big deal, but TLS 1.0 is getting a little bit old. I should probably see if I can, and it probably wouldn't be that hard with a Internet Information Server. So I should probably figure out how to disable that. And how would I figure that out? Well, I would do this and do a search for disable deprecated let's do this like that. Disable deprecated on IIS server 2022, because that's what I've got. I don't know what version of IIS that is, but this should give me some directions. Ooh, look at there. I can do it. There's my directions. Usually this is from AI, so I probably want to look in a couple other places and make sure. I may want to look it up in, here we go, Microsoft Server. So 2019, 2022, they're really not that much difference. This is a little more complicated stuff here. Oh, somebody's telling this guy how to do it. And they had some bad comments. Ooh, see, there's something. I don't know who Nartek is, but let's see what it does. This is a tool to enable and disable protocols, hashes, key exchanges. Oh, so this lets you go through, and I've not heard of this one before, but it lets you go through and with clicks do this. And if I was to do this, I would probably do some research on it. But I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to find a Microsoft website where it says how to do it manually. There we are. So I go down and find this answer and see how legitimate it is. And that's not a legitimate answer. You can do it by GPO. And this guy is he's not a Microsoft answerer. Yeah, I don't usually do these until it's like somebody like this, an MVP or somebody that I do know knows what they're doing. But if I keep searching, I'll find something somewhere. So I'll probably disable that and then see how it scans. I've already talked about the third part, which is kind of what I'm doing verbally. You review it, you'd say, okay, what's the worst one in there? I did like a little recording of it, but in your case, you want to write it out so it looks nice. So I did discover some vulnerabilities on my Minecraft server. I probably also want to encrypt my test server, for a website that I created for my graduate class. So those are a couple of things I should work on. But since I'm an educational institution, it's not that big a deal, I don't think. But here's my unencrypted server, which has nothing on it. There it is. And so I have a certificate on the other web server. I should probably figure out how to do a certificate for this because I know how to do it now, but they both can't run on port 443 because I have one IP address and this one is using port 443. Oh, once in a while this happens. I don't think it's up to date. I think once in a while it takes a minute. What? Oh, did I go to the wrong one? There we are. I went to .edu instead of .net. Okay. So this is the one that is secured. Yeah, it looks like I could work on that. I'm going to put that on my to-do list to look at. And maybe I'll have my server class look at that. Try to figure out how to do that. Regardless, you now know what this assignment is about. If you have any questions, of course, you know who to contact. Me.